No. Islam tells you, alhamdulillah, you have the concession. Because of the need, there is hardship on the man, then give him the zakat 4 months or 5 months earlier, and this is permissible. We have a short break. Stay tuned, and inshallah we'll be right back. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Number 5 in the concessions that we have out of the 8, rukhsatut ta'khir, the concession of postponing or delaying. So as in the previous one, you can pray Asr with Dhuhr. In this case, you can delay. You can pray Dhuhr at the time of Asr, and you can pray Maghrib at the time of Isha. Fajr, by the way, you cannot. You have to pray it on time. You cannot combine it to anything else. Likewise, you can postpone and delay fasting of Ramadan. We know Ramadan has to be done in Ramadan, but if you have a legitimate reason, if there is hardship, Allah gives you the concession to not fast and postpone it later on. فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. You can choose later on, the whole year before the following Ramadan comes. Number 6, رخصة الاضطرار. رخصة الاضطرار, the concession of necessity. So if someone is in real hardship, he's in need, what to do? Allah gives you concession to save your life, to save your property. Someone holds a gun at your head and says that either you say something that is blasphemous or I'll kill you. You have the concession to say it. Say kufr? Yes. إِلَّا مَنْ أُكْرِهَ وَقَلْبُهُ مُطْمَئِنٌ بِالْإِيمَانِ. This was revealed when Ammar ibn Yasir, may Allah be pleased with him and with his father, came crying to the Prophet ﷺ. And he says to him, O Prophet of Allah, they kept on torturing me until I said bad things about you. They made me say bad things about you. So the Prophet asked Ammar ﷺ, how do you find your heart when you said these bad things about me? How did it feel? He said, my heart was full with iman and tranquility. I had no doubt in you. And I meant nothing what I've said about you. What did the Prophet say, ﷺ? If they come back to torture you, go back in saying whatever they want. Meaning that this does not have any value. Why? Because you are forced. And being forced is one of the things that allow you to get concessions. And we will get to talk about this later on, inshallah, because being forced is divided into different types. So if I tell you, if you don't steal the money of Saad, I will hate you. So I was forced, Sheikh. So what is hating? Is let him hate you from here till Fajr time. No problem. This is not being forced. This is not being under a necessity. But if someone says, I will kill you, I will harm you, I will put you in jail, and you know that he's capable of doing it. If a 5-year-old child comes to you and say, if you don't do this, I'm going to attack you. Hey, what is this? No, this is not being a necessity as such, and we will come to discuss this, inshallah. Likewise, part of the necessity, if you're in the desert and you run out of food and you find a dead donkey or a pig, what to do? If I don't eat, I will die. And if I eat, it's haram. Well, you do the lesser of the two evils, and that is part of the necessity. And by the way, there is a difference between not eating and not saying the words of kufr, like in the case of Ammar. May Allah be pleased with him. Scholars say that if you were given the choice between saying the word of kufr or dying, if you chose dying, you're rewarded, no problem. Why? Because this is protecting the deen, which is more important than protecting your life. But you have the concession, you have the permission. You can say something that is blasphemous if your life is in danger. However, when it comes to food, if you're stranded and you find only haram meat and you say, I will not eat it, until you die, you are committing suicide and you will go to hell. Why? Because protecting your life is far more important than doing this sin, eating haram meat. So this is a different situation from that one. Number 7, there is the concession to change, which means that Allah gives us in hardship the ability to change. You know of a salah called Salatul Khawf? This is the prayer of fear, and it takes place when you are in the battlefield. In this prayer, you change it from 4 to 2. You change the Qibla. You may pray and the Qibla is behind you. You may bow and prostrate with your eyes because you're holding the gun. So you cannot tell the enemy, 1 second please. And you make sujood. You will not raise your head. So Islam gives you this concession of change. You change the ibadah, but of course not from your own head, in accordance to what is necessity. And finally, the concession of choosing. And this is part of the concessions of Islam. Allah is making life easy for us. If I say, Wallahi, I will not eat tomorrow in your house, and half an hour later, you call me and say, Tara, my wife is doing this beautiful meal you like. She's doing the biryani with garlic naan. Oh, this is killing me. So I say, what to do? Islam tells you, give expiation, kafarat yameen. Islam gives you choice. Either you free a slave or feed 10 people from the middle of what you eat usually, or clothe them. So Islam gives you a choice to select from. So this is part of the easiness and the concessions of Islam. Do we have any questions? Yes.
My questions are actually two. First is that you said that while like if we are stranded in a desert or something and we cannot find anything except haram meat, so we can eat it. So my question is like, how much can we eat? Like, does that mean that okay we found, so like we feast on it or we eat
Okay.
some of it? And the second is that if a person, while protecting another person, if he gets killed, like for example, the Sahabas did that, oh, they made themselves a shield for the Prophet. Now he was a Prophet. If somebody does that for a normal human being and he gets killed, so will that be counted as suicide, or will he get the reward of saving a life?
Okay, first of all, regarding the amount that you eat, this will come later on, inshallah. And there is a rule that necessity is measured by its true size. So I have a necessity, which is to eat pork, otherwise I'm gonna die, or a dead meat. The scholars say you eat what suffices you from dying, not to make a feast and call your friends, hey, listen, I found a dead donkey. Let's have a feast and make, mashallah, a big walima. No, you eat 1 bite, 2 bites, and you know that you will not die. It will take you for a day or 2. That's enough. You don't eat, mashallah, and put some oregano and spices. And no, you do not enjoy this. As for your second question, protecting someone else is a noble thing. But if usually people don't think, when this situation takes place, it's either me or him. You don't think that, okay, let me think. You immediately jump and save someone, and you may die in the process or not. So this is not suicide. But if you were given the choice, you should choose always yourself, because this is what you're questioned to do. Unless it is in defense of religion, in defense of your father, your mother, your wife, someone close to your heart, then this is something that it's a feeling that you get. Allah knows what decision you would make at that time.
Sheikh, as you said that if someone has an injury or a knee problem and we are given the exemption to sit and pray, so if the person yet stands and prays, so will he get extra reward as such for doing that? And secondly, if a person has a wound or something, it's like a small wound. To a certain extent, it may like deteriorate or increase the wound if he does ablution over that part, for example, the ankle or so. So should he do wuzu over that ankle, or should he just leave that part? Or
So if I understand the first question, would be a person has an illness. He has pain in his knees. He can't stand and pray, but he would be suffering. There will be hardship, and it would be painful. So what is best for him? To pray sitting or to pray standing? Definitely, if it is painful and would distract him from praying, we would tell him, sit down. The Prophet said, alayhi salam, no one should pray while he is fighting the call of nature or while he is in the presence of food. Why? Because you will pray, Allahu Akbar. Ah, smell that food. Sami Allahu liman hamidah. Allah, I don't know. 3 rak'ah, I'm hungry. So Islam tells you no. Likewise, if I'm going to suffer pain and agony, I can stand. But I will be thinking, when is the Imam going to say the last verse so that I can sit? No, in this case, it is best for you to pray sitting down. As for your second question, if it's going to deteriorate or the recovery would be delayed, in this case, you're exempted. This is a concession. But you have to follow the sequence. Sequence 1, can you wash it? No, it will deteriorate and it will take more time to recover. In this case, put a bandage on it and wipe over the bandage. I cannot put a bandage. It is more painful and harmful to it. Third thing to do, make normal wudu. When it comes to that area, skip it and make tayammum for it. This is the sequence that you should follow. This is all the time we have. Until we meet next time, fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Huh?